Welcome to another episode of Show Me Your RAID Log, where we talk with industry leaders about how they use RAID logs and similar tools to help project managers succeed. I'm Kim Essendrup, co-host of the Project Management Happy Hour podcast, and one of the founders of RAIDLOG.com. Now, I've been using RAID logs for years to save broken projects and to keep my own projects from getting too broken. And I'm really excited to see how other leaders use theirs. And with me today to talk about RAID logs is Melissa McDonald. Melissa is the founder of The Smart PM, a veteran-owned small business, and she is a team of certified project and change management professionals that specialize in smart sheet development. She's a business and management consultant that can become part of your team to accelerate your capabilities to do more when you need help fast. Melissa is a former 3-time PMO director and Smartsheet user herself, and before that, she proudly served on active duty in the United States Army as an engineer officer. More importantly, she loves to cycle and travel the globe. And I'd like to say welcome, Melissa. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for having me.
All right. So I'm excited to ask you a few questions about one of my favorite project management tools, the RAID log. Ready?
Absolutely.
All right. So first one is how did you first learn about RAID logs?
Just really in my first PM role, being a project manager and working for one of the first PMOs that we had. They had a great toolkit for us, and it was right in there, just part of the toolkit.
That's interesting. A lot of the more experienced project managers I speak with, it's just always been part of their toolbox, something that they learned early on and just have taken with them.
Yeah, there's a lot of great tools, a lot of unnecessary ones as well.
I have to agree there. Yeah. So can you tell us about a time when using a RAID log saved a project or kept you from having to save a project, which of course is even better?
Well, as a PM, we all know that there's so many moving parts and pieces. I had a very large hardware and software project, installation project at Walter Reed. And the product was shipping from Japan, over 700 large commercial industrial sized printers. And so keeping track of all of that, plus implementing it throughout the entire campus to include the White House and Camp David. Just too many moving pieces and parts and obstacles to overcome. And it was too high a visibility. Definitely not presidential, but it was a pretty important project. And so I needed to stay on top of everything from the get-go. And aside from the schedule, the RAID log was my second most important document.
What an exciting project. That had to have been high profile, yeah?
Well, for the company, yes.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So what has been your biggest pain point overall when using RAID logs? Do you have a frustration point when using them?
I do, actually. And it's not the tool itself, it's the visibility. It's the fact that it's not as utilized in maybe a dashboard, a status report. It's just piecemealed out, and the leaders don't get the total impact of what is in that document. It's not just about risks. It's about the action items. It's about the things that are outstanding. And I think the lack of visibility is the biggest pain point I've seen.
Do you have any things that you've done specifically to help raise that executive awareness in the RAID log? Because there can be quite a lot of information there. So how do you present that in a meaningful way to executives?
Well, I keep it clean and managed. It grows really, really long. And so obviously you want to prioritize it and keep the most important things up top. If you keep it organized and you keep it well groomed, then it becomes an essential tool. And it was always something right after the schedule and right after the status, the RAID, like we worked off of the RAID log. That's really part of your stand-up. When you think about it from a scrum and a daily stand-up, what are your obstacles? What are your issues? Put it in the RAID log, take away, and start managing that.
Now you mentioned Scrum there. Do you use RAID logs when you're working in a more agile way?
I have, and it's just your go-to list because you don't really want to dirty up your schedule. Your schedule is all the tasks that have to be done. Your RAID log is all the things that get everything out of the way to enable your schedule. So they go hand in hand.
I could not have said that better myself. I totally agree. So do you have a favorite tip or trick that you can share with our audience when using your RAIDLog?
I do. I like to put my change into the RAIDLog and manage the changes in that so that it becomes the CRAID log or the RAID plus C log or something. People don't necessarily respond to the CRAID log, but keeping track of your change is really essential. I mean, technically you have a change log as another independent tool, but just put it all together. I mean, it just becomes a really great place to keep very essential information in one spot.
Yeah, I think that's one of the strengths of a RAIDLog is it's very easy to extend it and say, here I'm going to add my change log in here and call me my CRAID log, or maybe I'll add a tab for lessons learned or something like that.
Yeah, it's a great tool. It's really the second most important tool in my book, if not the first one. You've got schedule. That one gets down pretty pat on what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else with your RAIDLog is how you're getting the schedule done. So it's important, very important.
Absolutely. Well, Melissa, thank you so much for joining us and sharing some of your project management experience and wisdom. And if our audience wants to find out more about what you're doing, how can they best do that?
So I'm on LinkedIn at Melissa McDonald, or you can find me on my website, thesmartpm.pro, or you can send me an email at melissa@thesmartpm.pro.
Great. And we'll have all those links in the notes with this video. Melissa, thank you so much for taking time to join us today and showing us your RAIDLog.
Thanks for having me.